This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
这是我。
This is me.
This is me.
And this is us.
Hey everybody, it's me, Dom, aka Blind Justice, back with another episode of This Is Us. So, with this being the beginning again of Meet the Blind Month, I actually had to bring on a good friend of mine. And you guys, if y'all know me, I have been trying to get him on my channel since the first day I met him because he has such a great story to tell. But without further ado, Daniel, say hey to the people.
Hey, what's up? It's Daniel, aka Rolling Blind.
All right, so I'm sure you've seen the episodes before, so we're gonna go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. So you all, well, tell us your name, your age, and where you're from.
All right, my name is Daniel Diaz, Oklahoma City. And what was the other thing you said?
Your age.
Oh, I'm about to be 32 actually in October.
Oh, okay. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, and so the nature of your blindness and exactly how well can you see?
I would say my vision is not that good, to be honest. I could probably see from like 3 or 4 inches off my face, you know, when I get the phone close to my face. Mm-hmm. Besides that, everything's a blur. If I do wear glasses, I can see a little bit better, but not much, you know?
Right.
And the way how I lost my vision, it was due to getting shot with a shotgun back in 2009 due to gang violence.
Okay, and we are definitely going to touch on that today, you guys. But before we get started, the last and final thing that I always ask for all my interviewees to do is to give us a physical description of what you look like for those of us who are totally blind like myself.
All right, I got blue eyes. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, you know, I'm Hispanic. I'm Mexican, of course. You know, I'm in a wheelchair, but when I was able to walk, I was 5'6". You know, I do have right now I'm wearing a white hat, but I do have black hair, slicked back. I do got a goatee and a mustache. I have one hazel eye, because the other one, of course, due to getting shot, it turned whitish, grayish. Mm-hmm. My skin tone, I don't know, I'm light, but I'm not, you know, light-skinned, you know what I mean?
Right.
Of course, I'm in a wheelchair, of course, like I said, and I'm kind of like a big boy, I guess.
Not a big boy.
Well, yeah, for my, you know, my height, you know.
Right.
I consider myself, you know.
Okay. Well, as usual, sir, you ready to get down to the nitty-gritty?
Yep.
All right, so let's go. So you guys, one of the great things that I love about meeting all these different individuals is because I get a chance to really get to hear their story and see their walk of life. It's like I'm almost being taken out of my shoes and given the opportunity to live life in the shoes of somebody else. And I feel like Daniel's story is really... I still find myself, and we've been friends for years now, I still find myself being so amazed at his amount of strength and courage to continue on giving his story. So I'm going to let him give you guys a little bit of background as to what brought him here today, and then I'll have a couple of questions for him. So go ahead, Dan.
All right, well, of course, I am, you know, from Mexico. I grew up and I was raised in, you know, Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I moved, I want to say back when I was 7. So from 7 to 18, I was back over there, you know. Of course, I grew up in the hood, and, you know, I got involved into gangs at a very young age. And, of course, you know, I was, you know, doing what regular, you know, gang members do, just, you know, getting into trouble. And, of course, even though at the age of 17, when I decided to step back, and I was actually gonna move already to Oklahoma, I want to say like 2 or 3 days before I moved over here, that's, you know, when I got shot. I was actually totally blind for a few days, you know, because my retina got detached when I got shot. I was 17. I don't know if I mentioned that already, when I got shot. And yeah, I just wanted to get interviewed with you, even though it took me a while, because, you know how I am with being in front of camera.
Right.
I want to spread awareness to young kids to, get involved into gangs, because it doesn't only affect you, of course, it affects your family. I've had friends that have ended up worse than me, rather in jail for life or, passing away due to being around gangs, you know what I mean?
Right, right. So I guess really the first question that comes to my mind, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, was exactly how this affected your family and your loved ones around you when something like this took place. I often hear about a lot of people losing their sight due to maybe some type of genetics or some type of illness that came, over their body. But to hear this story really just, it kind of gives it a whole new twist on it. So how did your family and loved ones kind of react to this type of happening?
To be honest, it's difficult because, the way I grew up, it was hard for us to spread our feelings, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I would say it was more of just like I blacked out of a lot of stuff that happened to me growing up, and of course when I got shot. But I'm sure it affected my parents a lot because, when they found out, they told them, oh, your son got shot on the head and he's bleeding everywhere. So when you hear that on the phone, you think the worst, you know what I mean?
Right.
So of course, my parents racing to my ex-girlfriend's house or to the hospital, thinking the worst, that, I'm gone, because, when you think about getting shot on the head, you don't really have that much hopes,
Right.
We don't talk about it that much, but the times that my sister has brought it up, he has told me that, it did affect everybody a lot. And not only that, of course, because I did get shot for a second time 2 years later. 2 years later, it was even, worse, you know what I mean, for that affected my family.
Yeah. So you really are a testament to gun violence, and really just how when in the wrong environment or having the wrong influence on your life, the way that guns can really kind of affect somebody's lives negatively. I think it's interesting though, especially now that we're going down this path in the United States right now with the whole entire battle against guns and no guns, and and stuff like that, as far as people having the right to bear arms and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
with everything you've been through, what is your stance on something like that, with people being able to have guns in their possession?
Of course, there's always ways to get guns illegally, of course,
Right.
I feel as an adult, it's okay to have a gun, but you really have to check people's backgrounds, because I remember growing up, I have friends, right when they turn 18, buy an AK or a shotgun. I'm like, really? Like, how is somebody who's it's not for the government or cops or the army could get those kind of weapons? You know what I mean?
Right.
That I don't agree they should have access to.
Right.
A handgun, of course, yes, because there's a lot of crazy people out here, and you gotta protect yourself and your family, of course, But when it comes to big, assault rifles, they gotta keep that away from all of us, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you. So take me back to that moment when you woke up in the hospital and you realized that your vision was taken. I'm assuming that had to have been really earth-shattering for you. So, how was the adjustment from that point on, learning how to deal with now the blindness?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a little bit, weird that both times, being blind in a wheelchair, it kind of happened similar,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I got shot in front of my ex-girlfriend's house, and right after that was the last thing I saw. It was him pointing the shotgun at my, and then everything went black, and after that, I remember I did get off the truck while he shot me, and I heard, from my ex-girlfriend and her sister and her family, that I was on my knees covering my face. And to one point, I think even her sister gave me CPR because she said I actually stopped breathing,
Right.
So after that, of course, like I said, all that I don't remember. The first thing I remember is, hearing the doctor speaking to my parents and my sister saying that I was going to be totally blind. And I guess it was I guess it happened so fast I couldn't process it, that I was like, I felt like it was a dream, you know?
Right, right.
And I know a lot of people say, like, of course, we all process or go through stuff differently, you know? For me, I find it shocking that it wasn't like, a lot of people like with depression or like, oh, that I want to, take my own life, you know?
Right.
For me, it was more of like, I don't want none of my old friends to see me. I don't want nobody to see me how I am now. I don't want... With pictures, I was a little bit okay with it still at that moment, because I was still able to walk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel my depression was more towards, I didn't want nobody to see, like, that I'm blind. And I actually stopped talking to a lot of people because of that.
Right. So, I guess before I go ahead and hit on this next part, since I know a lot of this section was really kind of geared towards gang violence, if you had the opportunity to sit down with someone or even yourself at a younger age, what advice would you give to somebody who is really trying to struggle with the decision of really joining a gang and really getting involved in gang life?
Of course, a lot of the reasons why we end up in gangs is because where we grow up or even our friends,
Mm-hmm.
To me, I would say, of course, even though that I did have some good memories with them, or, that I grew up with them as kids, so we know each other since we were kids. I feel to being in the gang is not worth it because, like I said, rather you end up dead or, you lose friends and family, and even putting your own risk, you're putting your own family in risk because, because of drive-bys at your own property, and, your parents don't even know what's going on, and they could get hit, and then that's on you. So, do you really want to live through, letting one of your family members, pass away because of your decisions of being into gangs, for me, I would say it's not worth it. Stay away, and hopefully, people watching this video could learn something from this or show it to somebody that needs to hear this, that it's not worth it, because rather you end up dead or in jail or somebody gets hurt,
Amen. Amen. So I know that you've mentioned a couple of times while really kind of giving your testament about losing your sight, that you were actually shot a second time, which actually is what has you currently in your wheelchair now. So I guess my first question would be exactly how did this, I can only imagine having to go through what you went through, losing the sight, and now having to face possibly being in a wheelchair. So, what can you tell us about that? Like, how did it affect you as well as with the blindness?
Yeah, of course, which is crazy because, both times happened to me in August. It was actually 2 years apart, 2009, 2011,
Mm-hmm.
With this one, I don't really want to, I don't feel comfortable enough to say what 100% happened, but all I can say is, be careful, I feel you could trust a lot of people, but just, gun safety, and
Absolutely.
Make sure when you're around friends or people that you love or that you trust to not have guns, to not be playing with guns or think nothing but bad could happen because, somebody could get hurt,
Absolutely.
And of course with that one, it kind of happened a similar thing, which, I got shot. I was still conscious when I got put in the ambulance. Me being me, all right, they're just gonna patch me up. I'll be home by tomorrow. I passed out. I woke up and I couldn't move. I was like, what the heck? Like, what's going on,
Right.
And then I guess after that, I fell asleep again. And then I woke up again, and the same thing happened like with my parents. My parents actually got there because this happened back in Arizona. My parents were already in Oklahoma. So they got a call again, saying, hey, Daniel got shot on the head. And of course, my parents being, over 1,000 or almost 1,000 miles away, they had to drive over there. So while they were driving over there, they thought I was already dead,
Right.
But my sister actually called the hospitals, and she found out I was, still alive, but she already knew I was going to be paralyzed,
Right.
And whenever of course, like I said, when I woke up, the doctor again was telling my parents, oh, he's going to be actually paralyzed from his neck down, That's what the doctors told my parents. Yeah, and like I said, I feel that one actually affected me way more because I blacked out, and I blacked out a lot of bad stuff I went through, and even stuff that happened to me after that. I blacked it out of my mind and stuff.
Wow, that is crazy. So, very rarely have I ever run across somebody dealing with a double disability, in this instance, with being blind and also having to be in a wheelchair. So, how was that learning how to live and navigate being in a wheelchair and being blind all together?
I would say, wait, hold up. Excuse me.
You're fine.
I would have to say, it's, of course, 10 times harder. Like I said, it affected me more in the fact that now right here in this one, like I didn't, even though that before when I was already, visually impaired, I didn't want nobody to see me. With this one, I didn't want nobody to see me in pictures, nowhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the only thing, even the 2 or 3 friends I still kept around when I was blind, I stopped talking to them too as well. So it was just my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I ended up in the wheelchair, I was actually about to be a dad. I got shot in August, and my son was born in November. So it was even, harder for me to have, like you said, 2 disabilities and not be able to do much for, my kid. So I feel that's one of the things that affected me the most,
Yeah. And I don't know if you're going to want to tell this story, but y'all, every time I hear this story, it always brings a tear to my eye. I just recently had a discussion with a group of friends where we talked about exposing kids to disabilities and giving them the opportunity to really kind of step up to the plate and show us that they can handle these things. Daniel tells a story about his son, and when he realized that his son stepped up to the plate and knew how to handle his disability with being in the wheelchair. Do you want to share that story, Daniel?
Oh, when he was younger, right?
Yeah, with the transfer.
Yeah. I remember, and this time it was around the time I want to say my son was around 3 or 4. We actually went to Arizona to go see him and his mom, And of course, me and his mom were actually staying in a hotel. And of course, because he's seen his mom or, grandma or grandpa to help me transfer from my manual chair to the bed or from the bed to the chair, when I parked right next to the bed, my son, he went to go get my transfer board, and he tried to pick up my leg and put the transfer board under my leg, And I just found that amazing how him being so little, he was paying attention to those kind of stuff and trying to help me, even though that he's still too small to understand, a lot of stuff,
Yeah, it really, to me, when you told me that story the first time, all I heard was, this is my father, and I'm going to help him. And I don't care what's wrong with him. This is my father, and I love him. And to me, I think it's stories like that really warm my heart and show us that kids and people all are really just, I feel like ultimately we innately know how to love. And I think if we keep that in mind, people can really just no limit to what we can really kind of reach. So, Daniel, I know that you're a part of this little group. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or whatever. The Blind Titans, is that something you're part of?
Hell yeah, hey, well, I don't consider nothing little though, But of course, I'm a proud member of, a non-profit foundation called the Blind Titans, and those fools, they're my brothers, and they've helped me so much, with my blindness, journey, that I'm getting a little more comfortable, getting out there on social media, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here right now.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, to me, I love your story. I love your story of overcoming. I love your story of growth. I love your story of starting over, but not letting that define you. And so I appreciate you coming here and telling your story, but also really getting the opportunity to speak to other individuals, like you said, younger people or people who are going through their, learning how to live with their disability as well. So, have you
Yeah.
had the opportunity to reach out or maybe speak publicly to some other people?
To be honest, I did it actually one time back in 2000. What? It's been a while, 2014, 15.
Okay.
I was part of this group right here in Oklahoma City called Possibilities Inc.
Okay.
Where they come together and they make little groups to help the community, right here in Oklahoma City. And we actually had a small event when I did that, and they had like games for the kids, the bouncy houses, ladies doing Zumba to teach people, of course, and they had a stage, and that's where the first time I think I spoke up in front of people and let them know, about what I've been through for the kids to hear what I had to say.
Yeah.
And even though it's been a while, I want to get back into doing that because, I feel if out of 100 people, as long as I can help a handful, that's more than enough for me because, I would have liked that help when I was a kid.
Absolutely. And that's really what it's all about. Is like you said, spreading the information, advocacy, giving resources, and really just passing it along. I know my experience was very similar as well with people, when I lost my vision, being told, okay, well, you're blind now, you figure it out. And I feel like in many ways, if I would have just known just a fraction of what your story or other people's story, I probably would be so much far advanced than where I am now. So again, I definitely want to personally thank you. I want to thank the Blind Titans as well for what they do and stuff like that. And as we get ready to kind of draw this to a close, while I'll give you opportunity to say your information, before I close it out, I always give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to ask me something. So because I'm an open book, you can ask me anything.
Pause for a little bit. I would have to say, I'm sure you've had this question already, right?
Okay.
But where do you see yourself in the next, 5 years?
So, there's a couple of things that I would like to have accomplished. So I'm just gonna list 3. I want to start traveling more. Meeting other people in different states and stuff like that, and really getting the opportunity to kind of like you speak and tell my story to people who are outside of just my own, one little town that I live in. So I definitely want to be given the opportunity to do that. I'm starting to get that little itch of wanting a family. I got a little puppy. I'm surprised he's not over here barking right now. But but I definitely would like to maybe start a family. And I feel like I'm getting older enough, so I feel like, yeah, why not? And then last but not least, I'm hoping that I could possibly, I've been given the opportunity, which I'm gonna keep it on the hush a little bit, but I've been given the opportunity to possibly start being thrown in some trials to help kind of find more information out about my particular form of vision loss, which is diabetic retinopathy, and really hoping that the little research that I could provide or information or study might be able to help a cure or help for maybe a certain type of medication to maybe help people who are going through what I'm going through. So fingers crossed. But
fingers crossed, bro.
Absolutely. So as always, I want to give you the opportunity to let people know if they want to reach out to you, where they can find you and the Blind Titans, so you can go ahead and give their information too, and just let them know what you got going on.
All right. Well, you can find my personal page on YouTube. I'm more on TikTok, even though I haven't posted in a while, but I want to get back on it again, and on Instagram. Yeah, on Instagram, all 3 of them is Rolling Blind, at Rolling Blind.
Okay.
And of course, in the Blind Titans is at Blind Titans only. You can find us on what is it, Instagram? Oh no, on Instagram's we_r_blind titans, and on YouTube and TikTok is @blind titans. That's where you can find us.
Okay. And if anybody would like to help or donate maybe or give any type of resources or information, they can just reach out to you, right? Or any of them. Okay. All right. Okay, Daniel, it sounds like you may have some great things on the horizon, sir.
Well, hopefully, bro. Me and my brothers, and I got a shout out to, of course, our sisters.
Mm-hmm.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Canes.
That's right.
The Blind Baddies, because of them, I met a lot of you guys, and I love all you guys.
That's right. So, Daniel, I see great things in your future. I hope that you continue on. This is only a stepping stool. And I wanted to say this publicly. I am so proud of you, Daniel. I am so proud of you. I knew that one day we were going to have this opportunity, and I'm so glad that you chose to have this with me. So thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. And again, I just see great things in your future. So
thank you, bro.
No problem.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. So, all right, you guys, just go ahead and concluding. This is concluding another episode of This Is Us. So, again, if you guys enjoy what you've seen here, please feel free to like, subscribe, and follow any Blind Justice media. You can find me on YouTube at Blind Justice, the way I see it on YouTube. You can follow me on I_am_Dominic on Instagram and on TikTok as well at Blind Justice 316. So, you guys take care. We'll be talking to you soon.